Good evening. I'm here in the headquarters of Light Mandalas in Thailand, Chiang Mai, and we are exploring the product line of Light Mandala. And today we are here with Dr. Akmal, the CEO of the company, and we are checking today a beautiful device which would be giving us chance to clear the environment and run the meditations and group meditations, and more into details Akmal will tell us.
Thanks, Alex. So we are talking now about the Astral Star. It's this white device in front of Alex. It's a device that has a white laser. It's capable of displaying programs that have been set into libraries. We have six main libraries, and these are the libraries for the physical related energy influencing resonances. And then we have the emotional, so these are libraries for emotional issues. We're going to go through them together. Then for the mental and the cognitive functions, and then we have the etheric and like geopathic kind of energies that can have an influence on us.
Let's bring, for example...
Just 1 second, and then the universal, and then the cosmic. So we have actually these 6 dimensions, and each one has its own library. And from there, then we can go...
So let's, for example, go in the very basic situations, because we might need to bring examples to people, like in which situations it will help. So, for example, we take a basic situation like I just landed in airport, and of course, an airport not one of the pleasant places to be. I come home and I'm not in my best mood, we put it in a very soft way. Will it help me to improve my mood or overall well-being, and how it's helping me through which tools, like what's change my state, emotional or physical?
Sure. So the Astral Star is designed to go into really a microscopic detail, into much more. It's almost like surgery compared to just general enhancement. This one has much more refined details to work with. So the type of resonances you can see on the logo there, this is one of the aspects of like, let's say we look into one of these libraries, and I will get back to your answer about how to use this when you come back from an airport or a trip or something. But let's take that library here. As you can see, we can select it from this menu, and then here we can have the different, this is like platonic solids. You would have different types of signatures, resonances, vortexes, and these types of energy. It will be flickering in the display just because of the difference in the screen rate. But so here's what happens. You can have specific refined patterns generated by this device. Then what we do is we take them and we pass them through a crystal. Again, it's a quartz crystal.
But now we don't use crystal, right?
At this point, no, we're just projecting it directly so we can see it. But we are going to insert now the crystal and see. And what the crystal does, it transforms it from being a flat image, two-dimensional image, into a bubble of light.
So it will be stronger when we will put the crystal on the device, right?
I wouldn't. It's not a matter of strength as much as it is a matter of taking that specific signal or image resonance and creating a fractal multiplication of it using that crystal. So you create octaves of that.
Or copies. Can we call them copies? Fractal copies.
Copies in octaves. It's doubling. It's doubling. It's doubling.
Doubling, so, but it's for example, same resonance. Like we're here seeing the vortex.
Yeah.
So then it's mean we're doubling our copies of copies.
Kind of scales. Fractal is multiple scales of the same source.
So it's mean it will fill up the environment with the copies of the copies while you're using the sphere. Exactly. So it's mean like more longer device will work, more higher frequency appear to be in the environment where the device installed, right?
That's one way of seeing it. And the objective from all this is really to get to these 6 dimensions. You want to create octaves of that same pattern that can target the physical, the emotional, mental, geopathic, like psychic, universal and cosmic dimensions of us. So that's what a fractal application of one pattern would be. So you would have basically all these different libraries, and you would have in the mental, in the emotional library, for instance, you would have a lot of things like anger. This is basically a pattern that will diffuse anger, that it will transmute anger and turn it into a calmer state. You would have things for hysteric, fear,
Sounds like a family device, though, no? Don't you think so?
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
that to balance
Stress.
that environment in the family, because most of the family is going through, especially if it's like 3-4 kids in the family, So I believe that's we can call it a family device to manage that
family
kind
therapy
of
device.
family therapy
I would say
device.
a lot of therapists we apply this technology for family therapy situations or individual situations.
So it's mean I not only use it like for example physiotherapy device, just I also can heal with it, right?
Exactly, because it's influencing these layers of bodies, as they're being called, the emotional body, the mental body, and so on, the psychic body, and so on. And in this case, you can influence them using this specific resonances, and just by being exposed for a short period of time. But let's say, for instance, in the mental library, you would have a lot of cognitive functions enhancements, like for exams and
so I can stimulate a different state of mind, right? So that would shape my frequency in the specific, like a library of talents, right? Or amplifying already my own talents, or balancing. For example, if I don't have enough creativity, can it boost my creativity?
Actually, you're very right in this, because there are some of the talent enhancing resonances here would be for like artistic qualities like painting, sculpture, poetry, writing. It can put you in the creative state, and it's really replicating the nerve impulses that exist in an artist, and it replicates that in someone who's not an artist. So your nervous system now will start functioning as that person. Also the same with, like, let's say you have patterns here for learning language. If you want to study a language that you don't know, by exposing yourself to this resonance, what it will do is not that you are going to be able to speak the language right away without learning it, but if you go and take the course now, you will become someone who's gifted and talented in language, as opposed to someone who's
really if in this way, how long I should spend my time in the resonance of the device? Is it 1 hour per day? Is it 2 hour, 3 hour? Is it like I do it like
it will be 7 minutes per day, but you want to create a pattern. It's kind of like creating a habit. So you're introducing that new neural connection and the nervous system frequency pattern. You want it to be repetitive for a period of time, so that it becomes now a neural connection established.
So, for example, if I'm trying to manage my day and pump up my skills, so it probably would be one of the best time in the morning, because you wake up, you're still in that state. You probably can sit in front of the device, close your eyes, meditate, and let that frequencies apply into your informational field, and then exactly, like in your aura, what you can say, right? So that you can absorb and then go and apply it to in my day. Yeah, so exactly. It's
like there are some of the patterns here. The public speaking pattern, for instance, is a very useful one, where you would, if you have an event and you want to prepare for it, you would select that and you would be exposed to it for that 10 minutes period, and it will replicate in your nervous system the same patterns as someone who's confident and
Beautiful. Definitely gonna use this technique in the Jakarta event, which is coming.
There,
yeah, with the summit, with the we will have presenting Light Mandala company in Jakarta Health and Healing Festival with a lot of officials, Minister of Health, Minister of Tourism, Mayor of Jakarta, and many interesting people, as if we are promoting at this moment. And I think Akmal will tell about this a couple of words. It's actually a new way of the holistic approach of medical tourism. Like, that's why I would shift to the different terminology of the medical tourism. I would say it's kind of like recovery or rejuvenation or wellness, yeah, to take care of your own well-being, be the master of your body. And yeah, because one center been built in Egypt for the army. Is it am I right?
Yeah.
So we was working, so maybe you tell about that.
Yeah, that's a state-of-the-art wellness center that has floating rooms using the zero gravity with light therapy as well as sensory deprivation effects. Then we have a detoxification rooms where we use far infrared capsules to detox the body and to activate the immune system. We have a light and sound therapy room. We have evaluation rooms using bioenergetic technology. So it's quite we have a salt cave that is used as yoga studio, meditation, and sound healing.
Well, we see that some army actually are there on top of the trend, right? So they use the cutting edge technology for their officials, and I believe actually, this is the right way.
For families and for the public as well. It's not a closed thing. It's a center they've done for the population of Cairo, really, and the purpose of it is really stress management. This is really the focus on a lot of the healing techniques.
I believe so. I believe so, because we normally would criticize the government. We would say we would criticize the some of the officials that we think that they probably not doing anything. But I believe it will be a good way to kind of take care of them and said, like, guys, please. Take care of us. We would like to take care of you in the best way, because you're responsible for a lot of people and
absolutely.
Their well-being.
That's a sign that they are taking these kinds of steps to introduce these unknown technologies to the population for the benefit of everybody, really.
Well, and stress management, I don't think that there is one person who doesn't have stress who works in the government, right?
or the public, the population.
Oh, the public population, yeah.
The amount of stress in the world right now because of the events is just magnified.
Do you think this is a key turn point between of the shifting to the holistic ways, using the holistic and different methods with alternative ways, such as the color and sound and frequency therapy in general, coming up on the stage, kind of being in between layer between the medical approach and, for example, that complete holistic approach, like a healer, the traditional way, right?
I think the integration has been happening over a period of time, and I think the last few years of this lockdown and pandemic situation opened up people more to look after prevention as opposed to waiting for something to happen. So techniques to improve the functioning of the immune system, to work on our stresses that were a result of the fear and the trauma of what was going on and is still going on. So I think this new way of looking at health and taking the responsibility for the health on an individual level, that's where these tools that we're presenting and the centers that are being created around some of these complementary techniques it's really the right time for it.
Well, I think it's also give understanding to people that they need to be more involved in their own health, that nobody will be running after them and trying to save them. So I believe it's the way of the where we are moving is not healthcare approach. It's a self-care approach, because probably it will be even better for the system if people who consciously understand and interested in their own way of observing their health, that they would unload the system itself, so it will be more easy. So it's actually like would give more space for people in need, right? Into the medical perspective, if the other conscious part of the population would start to be involved in the activities of the self-care more, right?
I think there's a huge range of conditions that can be avoided by looking after ourselves with simple techniques and tools that will prevent emergencies and prevent things from getting worse. And absolutely, that will be then the cases that are really getting out of hand. That's where the medical intervention would need to address them. Yeah. But for the general daily health maintenance, now people are taking responsibility.
As we're talking, we are seeing that it's also a cumulative effect. It's not happening after one session. You need to be following the protocol. You need to be doing it how many sessions you would recommend?
There are some sessions. If you want the public speaking thing, if you get yourself exposed now and go to your event, your nervous system will maintain that. But let's say you do the public speaking now and then wait 3 or 4 days without that pattern starting to become permanent. Then by the 4th day you will return back to that shaky kind of unconfident way. However, if you follow a 6-day session, let's say, or several days one after each other, that's when it starts becoming your own second nature now. And that's become a habit that you will take with you.
So it stays.
It stays.
All right. So it just need to be you get a skill, you improve it with the device, so you need to polish it. You need to go and attend, right?
For you. It's like if you play piano once and leave it, you're going to forget it. But if you play it enough times, 21 days, they say, to establish a habit. If you repeat something 21 days, after that, it will be second nature. It will be your nature. So this is an accelerated way of developing the nervous system patterns of a specific skill.
So it will be faster than 21 days.
It will be, and it's only like 5 minutes a day, as opposed to sitting by the hours.
Very interesting, yeah.
It has sports enhancement libraries. There's many of these kinds of things. Patterns that exist, and it's great to sit and explore it.
For example, like if I want to keep my talent upgraded, I remember that we used in our experiments, we used the camera to record on the jewelry by the laser, so that, for example, I could program my kind of my pendant or my ring, so that I would have that support. Or even interesting stuff was when we was projected into the picture, and then you would be having event and
like a remote
running the remote program, right?
Yeah. That's an aspect that's really very exciting about it, where you can take crystals, or you take your jewelry or pendant or something of that nature, and program the public speaking resonance on it, and then you would go to the event and you're wearing that pendant, and it's supporting that nerve impulse of that specific targeted function that we require.
Well, we have an interesting event, and I was actually having 5 crystals, the balls, which is on which we record the information, and we set it up by the perimeter of the event, and people was noticing that like you kind of like going into a field. You would able to notice. You would feel, you would able to notice that grid, I would say.
Exactly, and actually, this device, we use it also for events like conferences and things, where you would put it in a corner and you would have it playing a playlist of harmonizing, of calming, of loving, of compassionate kind of energies. And the people in the conference will have this just gentle
so it's securing. It's a securing space, right? So you're able to clean the space for a meeting and secure the space energetically, right?
Yeah, so I would call it conditioning it in a way that if somebody is, let's say, objecting to something, they will say so in a nice, gentle way, as opposed to an aggressive way.
Yeah.
It will just make people less reactive and less fight or flight kind of triggered, it will calm them down, and that's really a very
so it's a harmonization of the environment, or in another way, it's the energetic protection, but like mass energetic protection, right?
It's different from energetic protection. I would call it energetic tuning. You're tuning it to specific moods, and this works on the mood level.
Okay.
So you can actually have a playlist where you're sitting in a restaurant or in a lounge or something, and you can have a series of moods that are shifting, and you can feel them.
So it can be used in the bar, restaurants, game bars, right? So it's like probably it can be used anywhere. I would put it in airport most probably, because like I remember the most place where I see a droopy faces, it would be an airport. So is it will work in the like a kids park or something like that? And if it's working on the open area?
So let's talk about kids. We've worked with some autistic children with this, and the effects have with a specific playlist, including a scannable one, like you have the scanner connected.
I'm playing with it.
You can actually scan the libraries and come up with what is individually resonating with you, harmonizing with you, and then you expose yourself to that. But it had these great functions for this specific autistic situation, and we're doing more research exploring that in this field. The idea is you want to have harmonizing, calming, joyful kind of environments. Anywhere you want to create that, we use this device. And it doesn't have to be visible, and of course, we will install now the crystal, and then you can see converting it from a two-dimensional graphic on the wall into a basically light bubble, and we are using this sphere. It has a holographic laser-etched pattern, universal pattern, and we would install it here.
Okay.
And basically what this does at this point is it turns it from a two-dimensional object into a bubble of light into the space.
Very interesting.
So that it creates that. And the pattern in it creates these multiple octaves. It takes the object and creates octaves of it, or harmonics of it. So when you're sitting and exposed to this, literally your nervous system is feeding some of that to your physical aspect, some to the mental, the emotional, and etheric and energetic, and so on. And we're just absorbing it on all these levels. At this point, you will not see the pattern, but rather you will see a bubble of light into the space, of course, once you turn off the other ambient lights. So it's really a great tool to work on the moods, on the feelings, on the mental patterns, and enhancing certain qualities and skills.
Yeah, so we can see that now it's less visible. It's more of a blurry, energetic way, but you can feel the field.
You can feel the field.
The field, yeah. It's like, I would say it's kind of like blowing effect, something pushing. Very interesting. Yeah, that's good. That's good. Very nice. So we cover like most of the devices at this moment. So the best it would be to equip and take care of your energetic and informational well-being and your family. I believe that have a couple of devices, couple of toys, and share it just in the family. One day you would use more of a 7th chakra. Another time you would come back from the noisy supermarket or exhibition or something. You would use the violet shield to protect yourself. If you, for example, I would say this, I'm seeing this one if I'm traveling, I would go into the new environment, such a new hotel room, and I would place this one. Probably the one that I would use while I'm sitting and I'm working with my computer, or either I have some physical issue, because I personally love one, because in 20 minutes while I'm working on the computer being exposed to a light, I need to stand up and walk around, because I feel that I have a lot of energy. Yeah, so like and scanner, of course, will help to navigate all of these devices. So it's yeah, I think it's a good beginning to move towards that informational well-being. It's like, as you say, it's taking a shower, but just having that on informational level. It's unseen. It's what people probably was trying to modulate and harmonize with the mantras, with the prayers, meditation technique, applying the incense, candles. So I believe that this is the new way of applying the similar things. It's more,
it's a technological way.
It's a technological, yes, technological way. And still, would you encourage people to practice more, and then how they should use the devices, like with their practices?
Absolutely. I mean, the practice of stilling the mind, just quieting the mind, is really crucial and essential quality to have. I mean, why should we not be able to control the thoughts we get? That's an ABC of health, mental health probably. But sitting and meditating and having these tools active at the same time, you would notice the difference. It's like the difference between just sitting and struggling through a meditation while your mind is active and worrying and busy, and that takes a bit of attention and effort, versus sitting and having the environment cleared up and your nervous system put into the state that allows you to do it, and repeating that several times will allow it to be a permanent state. So it is really a tool to enhance it. It's kind of like working to strengthen your muscle using weights, or using it, strengthening your muscle without the weight. Obviously, with the weights, you will give more resistance, and the advancement will be faster. So in this case, you have these resonances around you that are going to harmonize your nervous system, put you in this frame of mind that will allow the meditation or the Qigong or whatever activity you're doing will be much more effective and permanent.
Very good, very good. All right, so I think we're gonna come back to explore more devices, and we talk more about this. Especially, we will collect more information, and from 6 to 12 March, we will be presenting in Jakarta. So yeah, thank you very much for tonight, that you find your time, and we will keep update you guys on the new technology, new devices. What is the new plans? What's the next device which is coming? Like, is it possible to have a glimpse on that without like opening too much details? But
we're working now with combining different fields together to produce these just holistic environments that will be much easier, and it will not require much more programming. It will be like push the button and have the different effects happening. So we're moving in a direction where the tools now will be much simpler and easier to use and apply, and the effects are going to be verifiable easy with some of the scanning devices like we have. So you would measure yourself before, measure after, and you would see the effect. So we're always focusing on tangible results. We are not just wishing that it will have an effect. We actually can sit and observe it and prove it by monitoring bioenergetic
amazing
signals and so on.
Amazing. We hope it's. We believe that it's already helping people to navigate in their way, especially those who are on their spiritual path, who is try to search for themselves in this realm. So yeah.
One function that comes to mind as well when you're mentioning that is about for instance, healers, the people who use energy healing, things like Reiki, pranic healing, Qi healing, and so on, Qigong, medical Qigong, and so on. A lot of times, the person's energy will reflect how successful or not the session is or the treatment is. And obviously, you would want to avoid using your personal energy because that's a limited supply, and sharing it with someone who could be depleted can really affect the healer. So having this device, it has a library actually of like Reiki library as an example. By having that present in the space while you're practicing the energy healing, you don't have the danger of depleting your own energy while you.
It's amplify the field,
like,
right?
Yeah, you have an energy source in the space that can support the healing.
So we can say that most of devices will amplify your natural abilities, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Beautiful, beautiful. All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Alex.
Have a good evening. Thank you for your time.
Event in,